Okay, hello everyone there in internet land. Sylph, Dominic, Hawkins here, coming to you live on Wednesday night, Wednesday the 16th of September. Coming to you from the forest. It's definitely not a backdrop at my house. I hope that you're well, hope you've had a good week. And since I spoke to some of you last on Friday, that you have enjoyed the warm weather. It's beautiful, the springtime weather. We're going to launch straight into it tonight. For those of you who are on Zoom currently who'd like to join us for hangout, social hangout after the session, stick around. I record the Zoom sessions so that they can go up on our YouTube page for members who don't have access to Zoom. However, if you are on after I finish the recording at 9 o'clock, stay on board and we can just chew the fat and hang out and have a good catch up in these strange times. So if you are ready, I hope that you're, wherever you are, comfortable, uncomfortable. As I mentioned, it really doesn't matter. It's useful in the initial stages to be able to feel some kind of comfortability. If you're already at breaking point, being overwhelmed with things, it does make it very hard to actually grasp these skills. But eventually, these are just things that you could do while working, while walking down the street, while cooking dinner, while, I don't know, maybe not watching a movie. But there's lots of opportunities. Don't ever think that you need to be in a perfectly candlelit room surrounded by rose petals, with Enya playing in the background and soft mood light. Like, that's lovely if you have the opportunity for that, but it's not a requirement by any stretch of the imagination. So tonight we're going to go through our 5 sense breathing observation activities that we always do through the 5 different senses, and we will be then moving pretty quickly straight on after that into the fire hand, the fire palm breath activity that we were working on last week. So without further ado, you can have your eyes open or closed, breathing in through your nose, down into your belly, and out through the mouth. Breathing in such a way that it stretches your ribs, stretches your abdomen, stretches your belly. And the breath, you feel it in your kidneys, you feel it stretching the back of your kidneys, you feel it opening up the sides of your ribs and your oblique. And you breathe out through the mouth. On the inward breath, tongue sits on the roof of the mouth, up on the palate, behind the top 2 front teeth. And breathing out, you can either leave the tongue on the palate, or you can just rest slightly if you're new to this and you're finding that it's all a bit like, up to you. So breathing in and out. And we'll get started with the rest of the session. So I'm going to start with the things that I can hear. Listening to the sounds that you can hear. What can you hear far away? I have my eyes open or closed. Breathing in and out. What can you hear? As you're breathing in through the nose, down into the belly. And out through the mouth. Now we're going to take our attention closer to the breath from outside the room or the space. Next question, 3 breaths. Breathing in and out. What can you hear in the surrounding space? What can you hear in the room around you? What are the sounds that are close? Maybe the sound within a few centimeters of your body. As you breathe in through your nose, down to your belly, out through your mouth. Breathing in and out. Out through the mouth. And final breath, breathing in and out. All right, now we'll move to the last layer. As you breathe in and out, focusing on the sounds that we can hear at the eardrum. Sounds at the point of hearing as you breathe in through the nose. Out through the mouth. All right. As we breathe in and out. So now we're going to just move away from the focus on the audible sensation. We're going to move now down to the sense of smell. What can you smell as you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, and in and out? What can you smell in the space around you? Now moving closer. So what can you smell very close to the body? Breathing in and out, 3 breaths. And now moving again further in. So I focus on what can you smell at the point of smelling? As strange as that sentence might be. Deep on the inside of the body, what can you smell? And now just relaxing the focus on the sense of smell. Moving across, we're now going to be interested in the sense of taste. What can you taste? What can you taste initially just in the surrounding space? So with this one, you might want to breathe in and then slowly breathe out through the nose as you taste and explore the taste sensation, or you want to breathe in through the mouth and breathe out through the mouth or nose as you taste through the taste sensation. 3 breaths. What can you taste and the fragrance and the aroma of the air around in the room? And now moving our focus inside the mouth. What can you taste in the mouth cavity? The teeth, cheeks. What tastes can you find on the inside of the mouth? 3 breaths. And now finally, what can you taste on the tongue? What can you taste at the point of tasting, at the taste buds themselves? All right, now just relaxing the focus on the taste sensation. We'll move across. We've looked at hearing, smelling, tasting. Now we'll look at vision, pardon the pun. So eyes open or closed for this one. If they're open, we're staring off into oblivion where our interest is beyond the space, so the peripheral vision comes into play. If your eyes are closed, your goal is to stare beyond the projection of images and colours on the inside of the eyelid. So you're looking beyond that, however it is that you need to manipulate your mind to be able to do that. So as we breathe in now, take 3 breaths, just staring off beyond any of the objects, unfocused on anything in the vision. What can you see? And just softening the focus on the eyesight there. Now we're going to take our vision focus closer. So you can either have something that's just on the edge of your vision to focus on. I prefer to do this with my eyes closed. I'm going to look at now, if your eyes are closed, it's looking at the projections and shapes and geometry on the inside of the eyelid. If your eyes are open, it's looking at the surface of something, just where it blurs between focus and in focus. And the question again is, what can you see? It's not really interested in the detail of that. It's interested in what it does to your perception. So we breathe in and out, 3 breaths, off we go. And now, finally for vision, taking our focus to seeing the sight. So can you see the tissue of the eye? Can you observe where light meets the eye? Off we go, 3 breaths. and just resting the focus on vision. Now we're going to take our attention to the fifth sense of the physical form, to the sense of tactile sensation. And so with the body, I'm seated in a chair, so the pressure sensation is super obvious for me under the legs, and the buttock, and behind under the thighs. However it is that you are in your space, lying down, standing up, hanging from the roof, whatever it is, so long as you're not floating in free space in midair, you'll be able to find some part of your body that does have a direct relationship to the ground. I want you to focus there first on the sense of pressure. Anywhere in your body you want to choose, the sense of pressure where your body meets the ground. We'll take 3 breaths, and the question is, what can you perceive? What can you feel there? Eyes open or closed, it's up to you. Breathing through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay, so now we're going to hone in somewhere in the body where it is meeting the ground. More than just pressure, I want you to now focus in on a space about the size of a 5-cent coin, and we explore the actual tissue sensation in the body, wherever that is. So for me, I'm like choosing under the right thigh on the chair. I can feel pressure, but more than that, I'm interested in the actual tissue. Can you hone in on a very small size area of tissue and think, what is the feeling sensation in the tissue? And we'll take 3 breaths. Off we go. Okay, so now I'm going to move my interest into just beyond the body's touch. My interest is in, say, I'm wearing some long pants. My interest will be the clothing that's touching the skin on my leg. Can I observe the exact point where my clothing meets my skin, but I'm not feeling my skin. I'm experiencing the feeling of the clothing. 3 breaths. You choose whatever item, whatever it is you want to explore. It's just in contact with the skin. Off we go. What can you feel at that edge? and just resting and relaxing the focus on the tactile sense. So now we're going to jump straight ahead into our flame hand activity. I quite like this activity. I'm going to start off with the left hand. I'm going to start with the center palm. I'm just going to take a few moments, a few breaths, and just slowly my interest is in observing mentally the nervous system sensation and feedback in the center of the palm. So one of my teachers had said to me many years ago as a little quip, he said, if you're new to this, you just push in the middle of your palm with your other finger, opposite finger, just make a little bit of an indent. He said that lasts in sensation for quite a few moments, and then it turns into a bit of a cool tingle. And you can use that as a way of kind of referencing and honing in your focus to that exact point if you're new to this activity. If you're new to the idea, the practice of being able to cognitize a sensation and the feedback of sensation somewhere in the body. So starting there, breathing in and out. Take a few breaths to let that expand and continue its detail. I'm interested in the detail that I can find at that point. Okay, so now, I don't know how you're going at home, but for me, that experience is quite heightened. I can feel all through this whole area, tingling sensations branch off into different parts of the hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be interested in letting my mind, just like a pencil, I'm going to literally imagine the drawing of a pencil up to my left pinky finger. There will be the drawing of the experience of sensation slowly. And as I go, I'm curious to see if I can still mentally connect to the feedback of the sensation at this knuckle, and then up on the inside of this finger, up to this knuckle, up to the tip or the finger, even the fingernail of the left pinky. And I do that mentally. You have your eyes open or closed, either is fine. We just explore this for a few breaths until we can feel sensation, maybe a pulsing, maybe a tingling, maybe coolness or heat or whatever, up in this left pinky finger. Off we go. Okay, so now I'm just giving you a bit of time to pick up this if you haven't had a practice for a week. I'm going to go back to this center point, maybe for 2 breaths. Okay, now my interest is in that little pencil, that imaginary mental pencil, drawing up through the palm, left ring finger up to the tip of the left ring finger. And maybe if you're really keen, the experience of the fingernail, the left finger, left ring finger. So starting back in the center, take another breath, draw up, experience the detail of that center point. And then slowly walk your way up that finger. Maybe give it one more breath so you can build a sensation of detail around that finger. And then return to the center of the palm. We'll do the same activity again. We're going to keep moving. So we're moving up through the middle finger, the root finger. So we'll start at the palm, 2 breaths. Re-experience the sensation on the center of the palm. And then now mentally taking that piece, oh yeah, we see that, taking that piece up through the center finger, through the left root finger. Now taking attention back to the center of the palm. We'll take another 2 breaths, dwell up the experience of whatever the tactile sensation of that palm, and then we'll travel up through the pointer finger. Now traveling mentally, drawing that line. That line is important. I want you to practice the observation of tactile sensation all the way along that line. Don't just jump. And then up to the pointer finger and maybe the fingernail. And returning to the palm. One last time on the left hand, breathing in, dwelling up that experience. Tactile sensation at the center of the palm, whether it's tingling or a sense of temperature, differential, density, whatever, you might interpret it in different ways. Yawning, sorry. And now we're going to draw that line up through the thumb on the left hand. Maybe give it 1 or 2 breaths at the end of the thumb, at the tip of the thumb. And then returning the focus to the center palm. Okay, so now at the center palm, just like the vision activity that we do, where we look forward into a bit of vision, disinterested in specific details of the points that are directly ahead of us. We're interested in a whole vision, a whole kind of grouping of different aspects of our vision, not just the forward-fronted focus. So what can our peripheral vision do? How does that come into play? Now when we're mentally, in terms of sensation of feedback, I want you to allow that sensation to expand, or rather the perception to expand, like you're curious about the peripheral feedback sensation of the nervous system and tactile feedback, as well as the central point. And we'll just see if you can experience that, and at the parallel time, these extra points as well. If you're starting to get some inkling of, curious sensations, maybe throbbing in the hand, now I want you to include the tips of each of the 5 fingers. But all together with the knuckles and the center of the palm, like these concentric rings, concentric circles of observation. But you're not looking at one and then the other, you're looking at all of them at the same time, just like how you can do that in your peripheral vision. So that now in your experience, can you experience the whole hand as one piece to be observed? The outline, the density of the entire hand, the entire left hand. And now just rest the hand. Take the mind away. And we'll move over to the right hand. Now we're going to move much faster through this. We've already spent a lot of time engaging the left hand. So suddenly looking at the left hand, or thinking about the left hand, or penetrating into particular points for the left hand should immediately bring that whole large grouping of concentric circles and tactile experience of the left hand to the forefront. Now we're going to move to the right hand. We're going to start at the palm, and we'll just do one breath for each of these, make it quite quick. So in one big breath, take a slow big breath. Then we're going to draw up an experience, really highlight and detail the, or rather increase the volume of, there you go, the sensation at the center of the palm on the right hand. Okay, now we're going to draw our little line out to the pinky finger. One full breath. Drawing out to the tip of the pinky finger. Another full breath, just exploring the detail of the tactile sensation at the pinky. And back to the center, another full breath. And now drawing that line out through the right ring finger. And taking a full breath up at the top of the ring finger, just exploring detail, expanding on the details sensation. All right, returning to the palm, one full breath, really reinvigorate the sense of detail there. Now drawing that sensation up through the center finger, through the index finger. And one full breath here at the top of the finger, just expanding on the detail of sensation. And back to the center palm. Another full breath. And now just drawing out along the right pointer finger. And now a full breath at the right pointer finger. And back down to the center of the palm. And drawing out to the thumb on the right hand. Taking a breath, exploring this detail of the thumb. And then returning to the palm, another breath. And now an interest in the peripheral vision, this kind of larger concentric circle. We've got this centerpiece and then this larger concentric circle that includes these knuckle points and the knuckle of the thumb. I assume that's what it's called. The flesh of the thumb. So just arriving at that kind of more abstracted experience. Breathe in and out. Curious in feeling multiple points at the same time. And then now out to a wider concentric circle, including the fingertips and the tip of the thumb. Focus on the right hand, don't get distracted with the left. And now our interest in the whole hand as one large unit, this kind of massive version of the hand. Exploring this kind of generalized sense of sensation and tactile feedback across every point on the hand. Oh, pardon me. I wonder if you're yawning as well at home. So relaxing. And we just take a moment now, the hand, we just rest the right hand, just relaxing. I'm going to turn our focus back between the left hand and the right hand. So we just worked on the left hand, maybe for the first 15 minutes, just finished on the right hand. Now we're going to see if we can observe, just as we did a very large experience of the left hand and a large experience of the right hand, just the tips, the fingertips of both, as if they were just one massive observation. Like I'm not looking at the individual letters on a piece of paper. I abstract back and just see black text on a white piece of paper, and maybe abstract further and just kind of see, you know, a murky outline of what could be paper against a backdrop. We've got these layers of abstraction in our perception. So as I have my eyes open or closed and I'm breathing, all the work I just did with the fingers, am I able to just experience sensations in the fingertips of both left and right hand at the same time? You might find your mind jump from fingertip to fingertip, like, oh, pinky, oh, thumb, right, thumb, pinky back, oh, right hand, left thumb, right thumb. And if that's happening, that's okay. Just slowly spiral back in your perspective so that you're able to just gain a glimpse and experience of all of this generalized feeling together. It might mean that you lose some fine detail in exchange for perspective. As you breathe in and out, okay, so taking that broad experience of both the hands, as if we've just made the hands one entity. I want you to draw that down into the feet. So immediately you take your attention into the feet, the palms of the feet, the heels, the toes. Just observing nervous system sensation and feedback. And now back to the hands, all of the fingertips together. Sometimes you can really get a sense of the kind of increasing acceleration of your attention, as if all of this experience in your fingertips, it's like there's a volume knob, you know, and it's just being turned up as you apply effort with your concentration. And meanwhile, the volume knob on your feet observation is kind of getting turned down. You just swap them. Now we go back to the feet. and back up to the hands. We'll do one more little loop. Just gaining this very broad brush stroke perspective on the nervous system sensation and feedback of the hands in general, not specific details, just a broad perspective. And now back to the feet. And just resting there, relaxing the focus. It's been a long, that was a lot of concentration tonight's session. So we'll just relax minds, focus and attachment to those particular areas. So just wrapping up, we've got a few minutes, as I'll just wrap up the end of this recorded session for the meditation and breathwork session for Wednesday, the 16th of September. There's a really fascinating threshold in meditation with forms of meditation that occurs when you find that you've arrived at a point where you've lost the original motivation. So, for example, if you begin with a particular motivation towards some outcome, you've got a goal in mind. Yeah, you really want to get into meditation because of blah, 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 blah. You're going to get involved in meditation because Bill told you to. You're going to get involved in meditation because it's the trendy thing to do. You're going to get involved in meditation because it's good for you, a healthy experience. You get involved in meditation because your attractive neighbor is doing a class down the road. You want to get involved in meditation because actually you find you're kind of enraptured in anxiety and you're keen to experience just a quietness. So everyone, there's as many people exist is the same to as many motivations as there are. And what happens is when you get to a point, who knows when that occurs, you get to a point where you're no longer, the goal of your original motivation is either done, you've succeeded, or it's lost meaning because the context is different now. Then what you find is your motivation for these kinds of experiences becomes challenged. And if you find that at that point, you lose motivation for meditation, and you think that it's because the meditation has changed. Really, all that's happened is that the meditation experience, the process itself, has revealed you for the fraud that you are. And I lump myself into that category. That when what I mean by that was that maybe for the first 10 years, the experience of meditation was actually not really interested in the process of the experience of meditation. It was towards something else. There was a hidden goal or a hidden motive. And when that motive is either exposed or just is gone, then what you get to find out is, what do you actually feel about meditation? Are you actually interested in meditation? Are you actually interested at all in the experiences or the processes, or were you only interested in, say, I don't know, looking good at the class with your attractive neighbor? Or I'm just coming up with funny examples, or arriving at the point where you could just sit and feel and just evoke very quickly a sense of calmness and clarity. When that becomes very durable and that's no longer the real driving factor, you start to see your motivations for what they are. And ironically, I have found, and this happened for me a number of years ago, I found that at that point, it was at that point where I actually started to develop a relationship, a kind of a direct personal relationship with the experience of meditation and with these processes. They were less motivated by some story, some narrative I had going on about how I wanted to look good, or blah, 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 or I was going to float 10 feet off the ground, and much more kind of aligned with my real inquisitory nature as to the experience of this body, and what do I really think about these things. And sometimes I would sit with just an idea, or someone would say something to me that maybe I had some mixed feelings about, or I had conflicting ideas about, and I would sit just with that sentence or with the memory of that person or that statement or whatever. And I just use that as my focus point of meditation. Curious. And the questions are like, what do I actually think about that? How does that feel? What is that? I don't even actually think I understand. I don't think I actually know what that is, even before I've formed an opinion about it. And just sit, and whether that takes 5 minutes or 10 hours or 200 years, who knows? But I would find that there was this very familiar relationship, like a beautiful friend who you just like, kind of enjoy, or a family member who, it doesn't matter how much time goes between you. Maybe you catch up only at Christmas. And yet it just feels like, it's like home, familiar. Meditation as a process, I have found, can take on that same quality. And then at that point, my interest in the relationship of myself and things, and myself and ideas, and myself and self, and myself and other, they became really interesting all of a sudden, and have continued to be so. So we'll finish up the recording there. It's been a good hour. If you've joined us at home in the future, watching this on YouTube, on the Facebook page, I hope that was enjoyable. If you are currently in the Zoom call with us during the recording and you'd like to stay on to have a little bit of a catch up, we can do that. I will finish the recording, say goodnight to everyone at home, and then we can continue with a little bit of a social hangout if you would like. So to everyone at home, have a fantastic rest of the evening. I don't know what time or day or year it is that you'll be watching this, and continue to join us for the Friday sessions and the Wednesday sessions. So I hope that you have a good week, and farewell.